Hello, my lovely YouTube crew. I brought you here because all the storms have passed and the sun is out, and I've come down to my field and there is not the sign of a thoroughbred. So we're going to go and look for them in the woods. But it's such a strange time. I just keep hearing news about Ukraine, and I see reports on Twitter from people who are actually there on the ground. And it's so heartbreaking and so pointless and so just horrible. I was going to say evil, actually. I don't really use words like that. But one ex-ambassador to Russia was being interviewed, and he said, you know, there is good and evil in this world, and this is an evil act. And I think if that's a word one does use, I think, well, maybe now's the time to dust it off. Anyway, one of the things I've been talking about with all my writers is when something is as awful and frightening and sort of unpredictable as this, because when you're dealing with somebody like Putin, you've got no idea what he's going to do next, happens, it's very important to be able to find a place of safety in one's psyche. I think of it like building a house. And this is really important if you're a writer, because you need to be able to access your creative mind, and that can only be done in the feeling of safety. If you're locked in the amygdala, there they are, then then you can't create. But it's also very important for your horses, because if you're constantly listening to the news and you're hearing terrible things about COVID and war, then that's going to put you deep into the sympathetic nervous system. So you're going to come down to the field, possibly not quite as far down to the field as I have to come. It's my horses are doing a little Hansel and Gretel number. You come down to the field with tension in you, with jangles in you, your startle reflex high. When you're in that state of mind, small things can make you cross. So you can get cross with your horse, which doesn't help anything. It's not the end of the world, you know. It's not. Hello, Flo. I came down early. I just had time to take the red mare's rug off, and I didn't have time to take Flo's rug off, so unfortunately she's still got her coat on, but she doesn't seem to mind too much. And look, we still do have snow on the ground, but when it's sunny like this, I don't like them to have rugs on. And they've taken my own natural idea and really run with it. Look at this. Yes, so you don't want to bring those jangles down to your horse, especially if she's a mare. In my experience, she'll pick up on those quick as winking, and then she'll feed them back to you, and then it becomes a loop. And yes, like I was saying, you don't want to get annoyed with your horse, and that will always happen if you've got unprocessed emotions. You know, she won't do something you've asked her to do, and suddenly the frustration will boil over onto her. That's very human. Luckily, horses are very forgiving, aren't they, Doodle? You've had to forgive me quite a lot. Yes, you have. So this building yourself a place of safety, as I say, in the mind, is really important. But because you're creating it from scratch, I think you need a visual to go with it, you know, something from reality. So it might be that you imagine it as this beautiful wood. I mean, nothing bad could happen in this beautiful wood. Look at it. And the horses are happy and the birds are singing, and I can just hear the first woodpecker. It might be, with my writers I work on, we build a house. One of my writers has built a castle. And that's your house. It's exactly as you like it. It's calm, it's safe, it's light. You can go in there and shut the door. Gosh, look, quite a lot of trees down from the last storms. And then you just do that before you write, before you go down to your horses, once or twice or 3 times a day, just so that you can give your emotional system and your nervous system a rest. You go into that beautiful, beautiful, safe place. Because also, here's the other thing, and I have to remind myself of this, worrying about the Ukrainians all day long isn't going to help them. But it's very tempting to do that. You keep refreshing the social media and doing the search and seeing the heartbreaking pictures of the fathers saying goodbye to their children because the children are being evacuated and the fathers are staying behind to fight. And that can get you stuck in a helplessness loop, because as heartbroken as one feels, that's not helping. So the other thing I do, apart from building the safe space, is I do the Mr. Emerson idea, I think it's George Emerson idea, from A Room with a View, where you stand in the sunshine for all you are worth, facing the light. And what that means is find the one thing you can do. And it might just be making your horse happy. You know, you don't have to save the world. It might be ringing up an old person who's sad and lonely. It might be, you know, working for a charity. It might be ringing up an old friend. Just one thing you can do every day to make the world a slightly better place. What does any of this have to do with horses? Well, because it has to do with horses because if we want to change our horses, we have to change ourselves first. That's my experience. And one of the most important things is learning how to process complicated emotions. You know, when the world gets crazy, you don't want to bring that shit down to the field, do you? No. Not even if you're wearing special red overreach boots. I hate the overreach boots, but she just needs them at the minute. Don't you, my doodle? Yes. All right, so I'm not taking a rug off out here because it's miles to home. So you're happy to have that on. We'll just leave it, shall we? Hold on. Let's just feel how warm you are. Oh, I know. She just wants to eat. She doesn't want me to get in the way here. Oh, okay, you're not too hot. All right. All right, well, we'll leave you. We'll do it at tea time. Look at that red mare. Did you ever see anyone happier? And do you know, the funny thing is, our last video, a couple of videos ago, I was saying she was looking a bit lean, which I think they always do coming out of the winter. But I wasn't quite sure I liked it. And now look, those ribs are covered. So she's obviously been doing some really good foraging. Look how wonderful this is. This is all thanks to my lovely landlord. And he lets us have access to these woods, which is just the greatest thing. So what am I trying to say in my rambly way? Remember those YouTube people who actually write scripts? I'm saying, as the world grows stranger, find your place in the sunshine. Find your place where you can feel safe. And it might be a literal place like this, so I do come to these woods if things get a bit much. It might be a place that you've built in your mind, which you can go to any time you need to. And just go there every so often and take a breath. Allow your nervous system to reset itself. Have a damn good breathe. Remember that this moment right now is your one and only wild and precious life. and then you can get on with the rest of your day. Oh! What have you seen? Flo! What is it? Is there an intruder? Oh, is there? Yes. And now I've completely forgotten what I was saying. Anyway, I'm leaving you with these two because what could be lovelier? And I hope for 10 minutes you too have felt safe and you have had something lovely and beautiful and calming to look at.